What's going on, everybody? Anthony Servino here, Face Off Sports Network. We're going to talk about the impact of the Tua Tagovailoa injury on Thursday Night Football, how it affects the Miami Dolphins, Tua, and guys like Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, Devon Achane. So let's get into it. Now, Tua obviously suffered the concussion. Thursday night's loss against the Buffalo Bills. You took a hit from Damar Hamlin, leading to a fencing response, a sign of brain trauma. Now, if you watch the play, Tua needs to protect himself, right or wrong. This is not on Damar Hamlin. Now, Tua, he has a lengthy history with brain injuries, concussions, dating back to 2022, which does raise concerns for his long-term health if he decides to continue playing NFL football. He suffered multiple concussions in 2022, which led to changes to the NFL's concussion protocol. But Tua's ongoing risk is significant, with former NFL players and fans and personalities suggesting that Tua should indeed hang him up. But that's not my decision. That is not your decision. All we can do is pray for Tua that he does make the right decision for himself and his family. Now, to the fantasy football implications, we don't know how long Tua is going to be sidelined for, but there's a good chance he's going to be sidelined until and possibly through Miami's bye, which is in week 6. We've already heard reports, rumors, whether we believe them or not, that Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins have zero interest in adding another quarterback, which means Skylar Thompson is the guy. You might sit there and say, well, what other quarterbacks are there? Maybe you trade for Jimmy G. Got to remember, Jimmy Garoppolo played in this system with the San Francisco 49ers when Mike McDaniel was there. Other competent veteran backups, my guy, Ryan Tannehill, a return to Miami, probably wouldn't be bad, right? Like, because Skylar Thompson, if you watch the game against Buffalo, I get the field conditions and it may have been a little slippery, but it did not look good. But as for now, Mike McDaniel is saying Skylar Thompson is our guy. So Skylar Thompson has played in this system, 2022, 7th round pick. He's only started 2 games in his career, but he's completed only 59.2% of his passes, and he has yet to surpass 166 yards passing in 4 games. He's only thrown for 1 touchdown with 2 interceptions in his career in meaningful NFL games. Now, what happens, right? Because we don't really care about Skylar Thompson. We care about Tyreek Hill. We care about Jaylen Waddle, the 2 primary receivers in this offense. Well, we know what they can do with Tua. But what can they do with Skylar Thompson? They've played in 3 games together. But Waddle, Tyreek Hill, their numbers, they've taken a significant hit, as we expect. So in those games with Skylar Thompson, Tyreek, 13 catches on 19 targets, 125 yards, 0 scores. That's a stat line for Tyreek Hill and a half sometimes. Not so much the 19 targets, but you get what I mean. The 125 yards, Tyreek Hill can do that in a half. He can do that in a quarter. That was 3 games, Skylar Thompson. Jaylen Waddle, 11 catches, 14 targets, 119 yards, 0 touchdowns. So the 1 touchdown Skylar Thompson threw was to neither primary fantasy weapon on this football team. Thompson, when it comes to his efficiency, it's terrible. Thompson's efficiency drops compared to Tua, obviously, which as a fantasy football manager, this is not good. You spent a top 5 pick on Tyreek Hill. You spent probably a second, maybe third round pick on Jaylen Waddle. You got to be sweating right now. I have Tyreek Hill. I'm certainly sweating. I have Jaylen Waddle in a high stakes league. I'm certainly sweating. So Tua versus Thompson, when it comes to top passing metrics, advanced metrics, Thompson 7.3 ADOT, 71.4% catchable target rate, 43.8% when it comes to accurate throwing percentage. Tua, on the other hand, 8.0 ADOT, 79.3 catchable target rate, 56.4 accurate throw rate. Clearly, Tua, as we expect, is the better thrower of the football. But what does this mean? That the drop in accuracy and ADOT, especially for two speedy receivers like this is bad. This is really, really bad news. This Miami Dolphins offense, and I get Mike McDaniel's a genius, it will struggle with Skylar Thompson under center. This wasn't just he was rusty off the bench. It's going to be bad. My personal opinion, go trade for Jimmy G. Go trade for somebody with starter experience. You have too many good weapons. This is too good of a team to move forward with Skylar Thompson. But if I'm a fantasy manager, I don't think you can sell, right? Like, you can't sell on Waddle or Tyreek Hill. Why? Because this is not like a sell high. You're going to sell low. And you're certainly not going to get what they are worth, anywhere close to what they're worth. Maybe you just want to get out from under the situation altogether. You'll take what you can get. I don't personally recommend it. I still think you have to ride it out. Now, what do we do here? Like, who in this offense benefits? I think last night told us who's going to benefit. Devon Achane. Now, I don't agree, right? Because Devon Achane, he has injury volatility issues in his own right. He had no business, at one time, like, they panned to the bench, like the Thursday Night Football cameras on Amazon Prime Amazon Prime. They panned to the bench. You got Tyreek Hill wild on the bench, but your star running back, Devon Achane, getting his ass kicked. I don't agree with that, but it is very promising. Devon Achane, 29.5 PPR points last night, 23 in week one, but last night, 22 carries, 96 on the ground, caught all 7 of his targets for 69 yards as a receiver. So he went over 160 total yards and a touchdown last night. In week one, around 100 yards, roughly, I don't add right on the fly, and a touchdown. He's had at least 7 targets in back-to-back games. In terms of snaps, he is, and obviously Mostert was hurt, but Achane, 82 snaps, even in week one. Achane, 35-28 when Mostert was healthy. Jeff Wilson, 10. On Achane, 47 last night, and Mostert out. Jeff Wilson, 11. I know Wilson was banged up. Jalen Ray played 17. It is clear that a Devon Achane is going to be a workhorse. And Devon Achane went into last night's game with an injury. It was a game-time decision. And not only did he hold up, he looked damn good in the process. And with the way they were using him as a receiver, notably when Skylar Thompson was in, this guy's going to be busy. And I'm an Achane guy. I'm going to pat myself on the back. I was on Achane really before anybody else. You go back to the archives, you can ask people who listen to the show. As soon as Miami drafted Achane, I was in on him. And I rode a tumultuous offseason with the injury, but he was like a 9th, 10th round pick. I thought this was the perfect landing spot with the perfect offensive mind. But this offseason, I was early in the offseason, like 2nd round pick. I don't know if I could do it. I was worried about the injuries. I was worried about the size. I was worried about the workload. When we hit August and I started doing my high stakes drafts, I was all in. I was drafting Achane in the 2nd round a lot. And I get it's early, and I get injuries can happen. But, like, if there's one player on this Dolphins team that you shouldn't worry about when it comes to what's going to happen to them post Tua, It's Devon Achane, because last night showed us he is going to be the offense. This offense is going to be tailored to Devon Achane and his skill set, because Skylar Thompson, he has already shown us he can't push the ball upfield to his speedy receivers, but he can check it down to Devon Achane. So from a fantasy football perspective, it is full speed ahead. If you're a Devon Achane manager, and even these ancillary supporting running backs like Jaylen Wright, didn't get a lot of work, 17 snaps, not great, 5 attempts, 4 yards. As he gets acclimated, you hold on to him. If Jaylen Wright's on your waiver wire, go pick him up, because I think Jaylen Wright has a shot to be the primary handcuff and possibly even standalone value if Raheem Mostert can't hold up. But that's going to do it. Again, we wish the best for Tua. If you're a fantasy manager of Waddle or Tyreek, I would just hold on to him and hope either Tua comes back, Skylar Thompson gets it, or Miami does the right thing, gets a competent backup quarterback. And if you're a Devon Achane manager, if he holds up, we already know he's a fantasy football league winner. I'm Anthony Servino for the Face Off Sports Network. We'll catch you later.